Hello, geeks! Summer officially ended September 22nd, so I thought it'd be a great time to have the Summer of Disney Mega Review. So as you may know, Disney produced a bunch of great hits this summer. You may also know that I spent most of my summer painting a house. I did find time, however, to go to the movies and watch both the Disney and Marvel movies that came to the big screen. And I thought it was about time, since most of them are coming to Blu-ray and digital, to give you a review and my thoughts on each film. So we're going to start out with the Disney Studio features that came out this summer. And they are live action Aladdin, Toy Story 4, and the lifelike action of Lion King. I remember when the original Aladdin and Lion King came out on theaters and actually seeing them in the theater. And just the amazing animation that went into these two films. I also remember going to go see Toy Story 1 in theaters, and I didn't go when it was all hyped up originally, and it got so hyped up, so very hyped up, and I was so excited to see it. I kind of felt let down when I actually got around to seeing Toy Story 1 in the theater. But it's a series that I've grown to love, watching it once it came out on video. Yes, video, not Blu-ray or DVD. But let's get to the newer films. We're going to start out with the live-action Aladdin. Now, when it was revealed that they were making a live-action Aladdin, everybody was like, who's going to replace Robin Williams as the genie? He is the genie. How can you do this? You can't do this. Robin Williams! And then when they announced it was going to be Will Smith, oh my. The comments got worse. And then, the day the trailer came out for Aladdin, and they showed the giant blue Will Smith genie, I can't believe all the comments it got. It was, if you didn't see it, I didn't see anything positive. Now, I didn't mind that it was Will Smith. I didn't mind that he was a blue genie. I did, however, think that his head didn't match the body of the blue genie. It looked like he had a shrunken head and this giant body. I don't feel like they did a good job CGIing this. That being said, going to go see the live-action Aladdin, I actually thought Will Smith did an awesome job making the genie his own. He did a little bit of rapping. They even made fun of him being the Fresh Prince. But he did a good job, and he brought a different level to the genie character. My problem, however, was Aladdin. They made a big deal about searching for the perfect characters for Aladdin and Jasmine. They searched the world, scouring to make sure they got it just right. And then they cast an Aladdin that couldn't sing. And I'm not being overly critical about his singing. I know I can't sing. But they basically had him talking through the songs. One Jump had a great new upbeat rhythm. And he's just like, one jump ahead of the bread line, one jump ahead of the sword. It wasn't singing. And this really bothered me. They also brought a new element to Jasmine. They went with what Jeremy felt was a little bit too much of a feminist view of Jasmine. Instead of wanting to marry for love, she actually really didn't even want to marry. She wanted to rule Agrabah herself. And they brought in the elements of her intelligence and ability to rule a kingdom, and her compassion for her people. To me, this wasn't too feminist, but was rather just a new level. I felt like they might have been able to bring in, instead of I want all the power feeling that Jeremy was getting, and maybe made it of I want to find someone that will be my partner and rule with me. Because that's an important part of marriage, is to find someone that is your partner, your equal, that brings as much strength and energy to the table as you want to give. Someone that's not going to be like, get in that kitchen and make me a pie. Unless they're just joking. That's okay. But someone that will work with you at maintaining your household, raising the kids, a partnership rather than a monarchy. That being said, I do feel like they cut out Raja and Iago and Abu a little bit too much. They might have wanted to get away from that because of the CGI and the expense behind all the CGI that would be needed for these characters, but they're kind of lackluster. And in the animation, Abu was one of my favorite characters. I liked Raja, but I guess even in the animation, she wasn't really shown as much. But she did have a bunch of funny scenes that were missing from this new live action. And with Iago, they decided to go for more of the pet parrot rather than the funny character that we got with the original. That being said, I did already order a copy of Aladdin, and I'm looking forward to watching it again. But at the same time, I feel like they took out a lot of elements that were needed. Especially not finding an Aladdin that can actually sing rather than just speak his song lines. All in all, out of 5, I probably give Aladdin a 3.5. I'd watch it again, but it's probably not one of my favorite Disney live action films. Now for Toy Story 4. When this came out, there was a big controversy of, is Toy Story 4 necessary? Why are they making a Toy Story 4? They did a great job of ending the series in Toy Story 3. They're just doing it for the money, which it's Disney. They probably are just doing it for the money because they're a company. That's what they do. They do things to make money. Now, that being said, when it comes to the question of, was Toy Story 4 necessary? I'm going to say the word necessary makes it no, it was not necessary. They did do a great job of ending it in the third one. However, it adds another level to the characters in Toy Story and gives an even better ending. If you didn't see Toy Story 4 and only saw Toy Story 1, 2, and 3, you're probably good. If you go see Toy Story 4, you learn more about the characters' past and get a better ending to Woody than just, oh, yep, he's going to go to a new owner and start a new Toy Story. But is it ever really the same when you move from one child to another? Because each child is different and has their own special needs, their own special way to play, and will grow in a different way. The best characters of Toy Story 4 were definitely Ducky and Bunny. I know everybody thinks it was probably Sporky, which Sporky was funny, but Ducky and Bunny definitely brought their A game to the movie. If they made a television or movie series of just Ducky and Bunny, we're there. So Toy Story 4 also fills in that gap of what happened to Bo. She kind of sort of just disappeared. And we never really got a good closure on why she wasn't there. She just wasn't. And that probably that is probably what causes people to believe that Woody and Jessie are actually a couple rather than just some good pals. Because, you know, a lot of people have that feeling that you can't have friendships with the opposite gender, especially if you have somebody else in your life. Which I think stupid. It's like the first rule of relationships, trust. Disney did, however, bring the girl power into this movie as well, making Jessie the favorite toy and the one that Molly wanted to be the sheriff instead of Woody, which makes sense. She's a little girl. She'd want to play with the girl and just have boy toys as well. Even as a tomboy, I tend to pick the video game characters that are female rather than male, even though Jeremy does too. But he just likes to watch them walk from behind. My reason is I just think they're nicer looking. So Toy Story 4 really does a good job of bringing back everybody into the story. But it's pretty much the same story in every movie. Toy gets lost. Toy has to decide for himself if he wants to be found. Toy finds themselves and strengthens their bonds with other toys. This one has a little bit of a different ending, but I'm going to make you watch to see if you haven't already. I do my best not to spoil movies by saying things like, did you know that Snape killed Dumbledore? But I do think if you are a Toy Story fan, this movie definitely brings a new layer and a new depth to the films. However, to me, I liked it better than 2. In the order of Toy Stories, I'd probably put this in number 3 slot. Probably go 1, 3, 4, 2. And I'd probably give this film a 3. It's a lot of fun and adventurous and funny, but the Toy Story series just aren't really one of my favorite of the Disney movies, not even the Disney Pixar movies. I do enjoy them, but they don't get the top tier for me. Finally, for the Disney Studios, we have Lion King, which I've actually seen twice. I saw it the first time in Chicago at the Super Carlin Brother meetup, and then I decided to go watch it again so I can get my Regal points and my Disney point bonus for watching all 3 films. I had a lot of issues with this movie. They decided that they wanted to make the animals and setting more realistic than they were in the animated series. Because of this, they made the hyenas intelligent. And that kind of took away from the comedy aspect of the hyena. They didn't make them as much fun as they were in the original. They also, because of this, killed, murdered, maimed Be Prepared. And to me, this was one of the best songs in the original movie. I know so many of the other songs got radio attention and Grammy nominations and were like, oh my, did you hear that song? It is the best animated song ever. But to me, Be Prepared it has the tempo, it's just fun. And they killed it. They also got rid of the line, Mufasa, ooh, say it again, Mufasa, Mufasa, Mufasa. That's just one of the best parts of the movie. And they cut it out because these hyenas are intelligent, so we can't make them look stupid. Okay, well, the humans are supposedly intelligent too, and we make plenty of movies where they're idiots, which there are a lot of idiotic humans too, but that's not the point. They could have just had most of the hyenas be intelligent and have like the 1 or 2, kind of like humans, that are just like, I can't believe he said that. He's such a stupid hyena. They also took out the fact that Scar was already aligned with the hyenas. They made it so he just decided, you know, I tried to get you to kill my nephew for me and you failed because I didn't tell you the plan. And, but I have a better plan. So, don't eat me. Let's just talk about this. My other issue with this film was, can you feel the love tonight? It was midday. They even say at the beginning of the song, it's supposed to be twilight. And they make references to it being nighttime. But the sun was in the sky. It was like noon when the song started. Not even close to twilight. It's like, you got problems there. I did like the addition of Pumbaa and Timon's gang. They brought some harmony to The Lion Sleeps Tonight. And they also made it so you get the sense of, yeah, Timon and Pumbaa love Simba, but you know what? Everybody else is still a little skeptical that that lion's not going to eat them, which I thought was kind of funny too. Now, since we've been talking about feminists with the other 2 movies, they tried to add this a little bit with Nala, but they didn't quite succeed as well as the other 2. which is kind of funny because cats and lions in general tend to have a matriarchy where the females are actually the ones in charge and the ones with all the power. They're the ones that go do all the hunting because the male lion's mane is actually too big. So like when he's prowling in the grass, the prey can actually see him and run away. That's why the lion's males don't do too well by themselves. My last complaint is that they got rid of Rafiki's stick for the most part. Yes, I know a baboon probably doesn't carry a stick on a regular basis and uses it as a walking stick, but it's iconic. They added it to the end, but he didn't really use it very well. Not as well as he did in the animated series. And they can't say, well, Sherry, it's a live action. They can't train a bamboo to kick butt with a stick. It's actually more of lifelike action because it's all CGI. I did like how well the CGI looked within the film. I did hear a complaint that it was weird watching the animals talk because they were too lifelike, but that really didn't bother me. I watch enough stuff with animals talking that it was fine. I think it would be awesome to see them redo Monsters, Inc. with that technology. The fur that they would be able to get on Sully, wow, it would just look awesome. I'd probably put this as my favorite of the 3 Disney Studio movies of the summer and give it a 4 because it's not any higher than a 4 just because of them taking away my favorite parts. But I still really enjoyed it and I thought it was well done. So now, I'd have to say, wardrobe! Nope, not that. That's not it. Nope, not that. Nope. Where's... Nope. There it is. Okay. So, now that we've talked about Disney Studios movies of the summer, let's talk about Disney Marvel Studios movies of the summer. We had 2. The first movie was the major blockbuster hit, Avengers Endgame. Unpopular opinion, I didn't like it. And you're probably like, yeah, Sherry, we're going to need your geek card back. It was one of the greatest movies ever. Geek card now, please. The problem with Avengers Endgame is you went in expecting one thing and you got another. So it's after the snap. I hope you saw Infinity War before I said that. So it's after the snap. Half of the universe has flaked away and we're left picking up the pieces. The movie actually takes place 5 years after the snap. And everybody's still trying to figure out how do we reverse the snap. And those that are past that point are like, how do we get on without half of the people in our lives that were there before the snap? Or why did I get to survive the snap and they didn't? They did a good job of bringing this depressed, mourning state of the world that nobody really got past after the 5 years. The world was very post-apocalyptic looking. Honestly, it shouldn't have looked as bad as it did in my opinion. Because yes, half the population left, but there's still the other half that can maintain everything that was there before. Like even the baseball fields were overgrown with vines and kudzu and weeds. It's like, shouldn't somebody be keeping that up? You can still go to a ball game and enjoy yourself. But I guess everybody was depressed. There wasn't anybody that was like, hey, this is kind of cool. Except for maybe Thanos. But even he seemed depressed after Infinity War to me. He seemed regretful even. Most of the movie is them trying to plan to get the Infinity Stones back. And them talking. And blah, 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 blah. Until epic battle! I would say that this battle truly was epic. It was much better than the final battle of Winterfell that we were told was going to be the best battle of them all. Endgame's battle, far superior. My biggest complaint about the battle is the scene where Captain Marvel has the gauntlet, and I don't even remember. They're like, well, you can't do this by yourself. And then the other women of the MCU's like, she's not by herself. We are women. We are strong. And I'm just like, that scene was not necessary at all. To me, that made it too much. Yes, Captain Marvel is a powerful person. And as I said in my Captain Marvel review, they did a great job in that of not making it all about feminism. This one scene was all about feminism. And it was just way too much for me even. Just like, you don't need it. The whole team, male and female, will help Captain Marvel get to her goal. But why do you need a team of women? It's kind of like, why do you need a team of all men? You need diversity, people, not just one side. You don't need that fight of one side is stronger than the other. Or, well, we've been down so long that we need to make sure that we're more powerful than this side. It's just equality, people. Yes, some people might be able to do things better than you, but that doesn't make them better than you. It doesn't make you worse than them. So this scene just, I wish they took it out. So if you have not seen the movie, haven't heard anything about it, about a third of this movie is time travel. They did a great job making time travel references to other movies, but I had an issue with their time travel. Spoiler alert, past Thanos, before he got the Infinity Stones, comes to the future to get the Infinity Stones from the team because they went around the past to collect the different Infinity Stones and now have their own gauntlet. Okay, so past Thanos has it. For the big spoiler, Thanos and his crew get snapped out of existence. So that means Thanos never got the Infinity Stones because his past version was snapped out of existence. So he was snapped out of existence before he got the Infinity Stones. Therefore, he never got the Infinity Stones. Therefore, the original snap never happened. Now, I've had it argued with me when I make this argument. Well, Sherry, as explained to the Hulk, there will be different branches of reality once they start messing with time. And he's like, well, no, we're going to minimize that because we're going to take the stones and put them back where we found them in the past. Okay, there's still at least two different branches. The one where the snap did happen, and the one the snap couldn't have happened because of the fact they killed Thanos. Or at least erased him from existence. But that also means that since he was snapped out of existence, Gamora should still be alive because he wasn't around to push her off the edge to get the Soul Stone. So their time travel just, it doesn't work for me. There's too many, no, you stepped on the butterfly, so that didn't happen effect. Sure, you took the stones back, but you snapped Thanos out of existence before he got the stones in the first place, before he snapped. That kind of really, really bothered me. More so than the lack of anything happening in the first 2/3 of the movie. Okay, stuff happened, but it was kind of boring. It was just like, hey, look, There's lines on the ceiling. Ooh, look over there. That's how I felt with most of the movie. It wasn't very intriguing or attention grabbing until the epic battle. If you haven't seen it, watch it just for the battle. But you probably have maybe the same issues I've had. And you might be bored the rest of the movie. Honestly, I'll probably get this on Blu-ray eventually, just so I have a complete story of the Avengers in this universe. But I really give this movie like a 2. It was bad, except for the battle. And the time paradox was, people should start being disappeared now, or reappeared, or something. The time travel didn't work for me. On a higher note, Spider-Man Far From Home came out. This redeemed Disney Marvel Studios from Endgame for me. It was still a lot of fun and very enjoyable. Peter Parker kind of wants to take a break from Spider-Man after the whole Endgame tragedy of losing his favorite hero. And he just wants to go on being a kid. That being said, they didn't really do a good job of explaining how none of his friends aged 5 years during the time of the snap and the time Peter returned. And they all went on a student trip to Europe. Peter's like, you know what? I'm going to leave the suit at home. Aunt May had different plans for him and packed his suit, which he ended up not using because he wanted to make sure that his classmates didn't realize that, well, Spider-Man and Peter were both in DC, and now they're both in Europe. Peter Parker definitely is Spider-Man. I didn't have too many issues with this movie, to be perfectly honest. It was a lot of fun. It was action-packed, right amount of action, right amount of story. Kept my attention the whole time, but it was missing something. With the passing of Stan Lee, it was my hope that they would still do something to honor him in every Marvel movie. Even if it was just a picture of him in the background or his voice somewhere. They probably have plenty of footage of him that they could just use his voice. Maybe him on television. Just something to keep Stan's memory alive. They didn't have that in Spider-Man. They did in Endgame, but they missed out on it in Spider-Man Far From Home. And this made me a little sad, but it didn't really take away the movie. It just made it so, man, I wish Stan was there, even just for a minute. Even just his picture. So I can't wait to watch Spider-Man again and see if I can figure out the plot twist before it actually happens and see if I could find it. I might need to rewatch all the Iron Mans as well as Spider-Man to find the twist before the twist happens, but it might be worth it. I'd give Spider-Man Far From Home a 4. I really enjoyed it, and it was a lot of fun. But that brings us to the last of the Disney franchises, Star Wars. I think we're going to need another wardrobe change. Let's see. Nope, that's not it. Nope. Ah, there it is. Okay, geeks. I know what you're thinking. Sherry, we didn't get a Star Wars over the summer. Star Wars comes out around Christmas time. And yes, you might be right. However, we did get trailers for the upcoming Episode 9, Rise of the Skywalkers. Now, the first trailer came out just as I was getting ready to start my professional career as a house painter. I Can't wait till that's over. It's so very close. I started to wonder, who is this Skywalker that is rising? All the Skywalkers are dead. Well, or ascended, I guess, would be the technical term. Because as of episode 8, Luke ascended. Spoiler alert. And although I am not a super Star Wars fan calls themselves, I still enjoy the series and the sub-series. But I don't dive into the world of Star Wars and read books and all that stuff. So actually, I think I enjoyed the movies better than the super Star Wars fans. But I do know that Luke ascended, Anakin or Vader died, and Anakin's mom was also killed. Leia goes by Organa as her last name and never called herself a Skywalker. Ben, or Kylo Ren, is a Solo. So there are no more Skywalkers. You might say, well, what about Anakin's dad? Although it wasn't very popular, the prequels state that there was no father. So even if this was kind of a lie and he wasn't born of the Force with his mother, his mom probably didn't name him after whatever man was his father. So that leaves us with the question again. Who is this Skywalker that is rising? So after watching the trailer, I started thinking, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe my thoughts that Rey is a Solo is wrong. What if she is actually Luke's daughter? Kind of, sort of, you can make this make sense because of the fact that Luke started questioning the ways of the Jedi. Jedi aren't supposed to love, and this is why I took him out of the running as Rey's father, because he did follow the ways of the Jedi. But if he started questioning the ways of the Jedi, maybe he strayed and had a daughter. And maybe that is actually why he went into solitude. Only part of the reason was because Ben was going crazy and burned down the Jedi Academy. Because of that act, maybe that is when he started to stray away. And maybe that's when he had a daughter. It still doesn't make total sense because of the fact that Ben and Rey are pretty close to the same age. And Ben was definitely at least a teenager when he burned down the Jedi Academy. But maybe Luke started straying from the ways of the Jedi before that, and we just never saw that part of the story. There is a scene in the first trailer where Leia and Rey are hugging and kind of crying. And I feel like this may be the reveal of Rey finding out that Luke was her father. Because Leia already knew that Luke had ascended. She felt it. And all the trailers say, every generation has a Jedi. Every Star Wars movie has a Skywalker. So that kind of leads me again to believe that Rey is the Skywalker that is rising. She is becoming her full potential within this movie. They might just mean the Skywalker family, the bloodline from Anakin, is rising up. But I'd kind of like to hope that it is Rey that is a Skywalker. Now you might say, well, they said after episode 7 that Rey's parents were not in the movie. And Luke was definitely at the end of the movie. Yeah, directors and producers never lie to us. Such as saying, yep, Jon Snow is actually dead. He is not coming back. Jon Snow came back. He's not really dead. Spoiler. Or they could just really mean nobody is ever gone. So maybe the spirits of the Skywalker are rising. Maybe they're over our heads, rising above us. Woo, ghosts. But I still have a hard time believing that. So because of the title, I really do feel that Rey is a Skywalker. Trailer 1 being a teaser trailer, we really don't have much to go on though, other than the title. However, Rey does breathe a lot. You know what other character likes to breathe a lot? Vader. However, I find it hard to believe that he'd have an unfair timeline. Wouldn't really work out because, again, she's about the same age as Ben, so she'd have to be born after the death of Vader. It doesn't really work out. Unless he had a son, illegitimate son, but he really, I don't believe about him. Okay. So, more recently, we got trailer number 2 that came out. This one gave us a little bit more of the storyline that's going in to episode 9. But it has a lot of the same dialogue that was in the first episode. We see that we get most of the characters still. I'm really curious to see if they're going to kill Leia off within the storyline or if they got enough footage that they're going to be able to finish it without her dying. But it looks like we at least get some scenes with Leia in it. It does look like it's going to be epic, a lot of fighting and battles. And then there's the scene at the end where Rey is wielding a red lightsaber. Now, this could mean that she's going evil, or perhaps she's just becoming a different kind of Jedi. Because she learned that the way to balance is not for the good to defeat the evil, but it's to be both good and evil. So, not everybody can be perfectly evil or perfectly good. There has to be a balance, even within ourselves. I think that episode 9 is going to be epic, and I can't wait to actually see it. And I'm hoping to go opening night. I can't wait for tickets to come out. But I don't think Rey is going to truly be evil. At least not 100%. She might stray away from the ways of the Jedi, but I don't think she's going to be a Sith either. However, Sith do come in too, so maybe. I really don't know what's going to happen. Trailer 3 should be out soon, and maybe we'll have more to go on. Just remember, nobody's really ever truly gone. Speaking of Star Wars, however, with Disney Plus coming out in a couple months, we're going to get a new series that I'm excited about. I wasn't going to do it, but I actually signed up for Disney Plus because they had a deal a few weeks ago that for 3 years for like less than the price of 2. And I couldn't pass it up. So I will have Disney Plus for at least 3 years. And I am looking forward to seeing the Mandalorian series once it comes out on November 11th. Also very excited to watch the live-ish action Lady and the Tramp. Growing up, Lady and the Tramp was one of my favorite Disney movies. So I'm excited about that as well. And I'm also excited to be able to binge watch all the Marvel, all the Star Wars, any Disney movie I want to watch. It should be a lot of fun. So geeks, what is your favorite Disney movie? Let me know in the comment section below. And until next week, have a good one.